What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Comically Boston. Today is episode 74. It is Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. And today, we got some good information coming your way. We got a KRAVEN trailer. The director of John Wick was talking recently. And Secret Invasion Episode 1 Resurrections came out today. So we will be reacting and breaking down that and what happened. So spoilers for Secret Invasion. But first, let's talk about that KRAVEN trailer, huh? New information came out that Aaron Taylor Johnson will be starring as KRAVEN, coming soon this October in theaters, a new Sony movie, quite like the Venom Morbius movies that they've made. Also similar title logos, but that is what it is. But you can see here in this picture, KRAVEN sitting in his throne of antlers with skulls on it, and you can see his like lion mane vest with his lion teeth covering the front. Sorry if you hear my dog Bodie in the background. He's just stretching. But I couldn't help but think that this Aaron Taylor Johnson sitting on the throne looks just like the comic book's throne. Kind of taking that whole image right out of the comic books, aren't they? So, you know, I know they're already taking liberties on this Aaron Taylor Johnson KRAVEN. He's going to be a little bit different than the comic books version, let's just say. But, I don't know. I think it's gonna be. I'm hopeful. I'm interested. You know, you got Russell Crowe playing his father, and he kind of stars in the trailer for the most part. And it seems like Aaron Taylor Johnson, KRAVEN here, is going to be taking down his father. And his father's a hunter and a murderer and a bad man, and he is now hunting down the other folks. Because you see KRAVEN get attacked by a lion. You see blood drop into one of his wounds, and that's how he gets his KRAVEN powers. We see his eyes turn yellow, kind of like a cat at night. You know, like, it's kind of some real cool stuff going on. And you know, I also couldn't help but think the KRAVEN Sony universe could be hit or miss, just like the Venom or in the Morbius movies. But also in October, we're going to be getting KRAVEN the Hunter, or PS5 video game, Spider-Man 2. So to me, I don't know, that KRAVEN might be better than Aaron Taylor Johnson, but it won't be live action. So Aaron Taylor Johnson has a leg up in the fact that it's a real movie, it's live action, we can watch it with our feast on it with our own eyes, you know. But there was some great shots in this trailer. You know, he was talking to his brother, which is apparently the Chameleon. That's interesting. You can see top right here in this little collage of photos. Top right, he's wearing, the first shot we see him wearing the lion's mane's vest thing, kind of like the comics. He's holding a flaming staff. You see him in the white t-shirt with his one little lion tooth, if you would, and these two pictures underneath that one. Then you see him with a crossbow, and then you see that first picture I showed. But this crossbow photo, I have another photo here. That crossbow is a big old crossbow, man. Like, he just looks badass with that big ass crossbow. And this one's gonna be rated R, and there's a lot of blood and violence in this one. So at least they're going that route. You know, they're going vicious and angry. And somehow this doesn't make me feel better about this movie, but it kind of makes me feel a little bit worse. Is the actor's not the problem, but we're gonna have Rhino in this. Cause seeing from this image, this, you know, he like is turning himself into a rhino. You can see his skin like turning into rhino skin. So we're gonna get like a live action Rhino. I hope that Sony isn't like, we're gonna do the Sinister Six the cool way. The Spider-Man video game already did the Sinister Six better than you guys ever will. I promise you, Sony. Please stop doing stupid stuff. You're over here making this Spider-Woman, Jessica Carpenter universe. That seems weird too. There's just a lot happening, man. And it's just like, Sony just, I don't know what they're doing. But if my numbers are correct, we have Morbius, we have Venom, you have KRAVEN the Hunter now. From Morbius, you have Vulture. You have Rhino, also seen in this KRAVEN. So that's your 5. You need one more. You could go Green Goblin. You could go any villain you want. You could go Chameleon. And then all of a sudden you just need a Spider-Man for him to fight. Now, if this is a Sinister Six Sony movie with Andrew Garfield that they're making, I'd say it's acceptable, but I just don't know what Sony's plans are, and Sony has let me down before, so I'm very skeptical. But comment below, what do you think about the Kravenness of this trailer, and what do you think about Kraven being with Sony, and I don't know. But some other news we got this week. John Wick director Chad Stahelski was talking recently about in some interview. I don't remember where I seen it, but he said that he's working on a director's cut for John Wick 4. So I don't know about you guys, but John Wick 4 to me was the best in the what is 4? Not a trilogy, quad trilogy. I don't know, but the best one in the 4 movies to me is definitely John Wick 4. Visually looked great. The action was superb. And then the story was also really great. I loved seeing Donnie Yen and John Wick fight together for a second. You know, like, that was just some good shit. But for those of you that haven't seen Secret Invasion, here's your moment. I was just petting the dog for those of you guys like, why is he leaning? But Secret Invasion Episode 1 came out yesterday. So spoiler alert to all the people that haven't seen it. Go watch it. Come back later. Secret Invasion Episode 1 is called Resurrections, and this one was badass. You know, like, I was all about this one. You know, Secret Invasion's all about, like, who you can't trust, and it's, like, going to be a spy espionage type of deal, and, you know, Nick Fury's back from space with Ben Mendelsohn playing Talos, and we got Beric Dondarrion, the Lord of Light from Game of Thrones, playing Agent Prescott. Prescott, not Prescott. But Agent Prescott was the little clip that was released recently before Secret Invasion came out, and it was like this special thing you needed a password for, and you had to go to the special link and type in the password, and then you were able to watch the specific clip that they dropped, which was the first however 5 minutes of Secret Invasion with Agent Prescott and Agent Ross, but the clip cut off at a certain point. We get to see what happens, and what happens to Prescott, what happens to Ross, what happens after this, and this is just the opening to the show before the opening credits. You know, they start, they go Moscow, Russia, present day. So and that's not our present day, 2023. That's MCU present day, which means it's Russia probably 2024, 2025, maybe even 2026, just including the 5-year time gap jump from Endgame with the blip and shit. So, but over the last 30 years since Captain Marvel, Nick Fury has been dealing with the Skrulls and stuff. So clearly the promise she made, and with the blip and everything that happened over the last 30 years, the Skrulls are still here. Fury hasn't completed his promise, neither has Captain Marvel. So Nick Fury is back, right? And he's like, but he's not the same Nick Fury we knew from Captain America Civil War. You see the puppy? So he's not the same Nick Fury we knew from Captain America Winter Soldier or Captain Marvel. You know, like, he's a different Nick Fury. He used to be the savvy spy that was 3 steps ahead and had a plan and was always thinking and always had connections, and now he's just different. Ever since the blip, he's been a changed man, you know, and he sees Agent Hill, and Agent Hill's calling him out, saying he's not really ready, but we'll get to that. But it starts out Moscow with Agent Ross on the phone with Prescott, and then you get this big, long opening speech that Prescott's giving, where it's like, it's really setting the tone. He's like, what could you do in a society where, like, you can't trust the information? And it's like, well, I can believe that. Like, exactly. And it's very close to what today is. But Prescott finally thinks Ross is cool the whole time, and then finally Ross must have said something or looked something, because Ross is revealed to be a Skrull, and he has to shoot Prescott to get him not kill him, pretty much, because Prescott was like choking him out with wires and beating him up and tackling him, and luckily Ross had a gun in his little ankles, shoots him through the chest. But then he gets chased by somebody that we just know is a Skrull, because they keep shape-shifting people, but he's just getting chased down by somebody in Russia. He runs up to the top of a roof, goes to leap rooftop to rooftop, hits the side of the roof, hits a splat on the ground so hard it was vicious. It was like, oh, did he really just go splat like that? Like, did we just watch Ross go splat on the ground? And we did. After he got hit by a car, he splats hard. And the only question I had, which might be a loophole of some sorts, from Captain Marvel, her like lady, Miss Marvel, when she like got her head hit in like the cockpit, she was still in her human form, but she bled purple, which was like obvious way to tell that somebody is a Skrull in a human and Skrull, a Skrull in human form. Oh, it's getting confusing, but this is what this show is going to be. It's going to be confusing. It's going to be like, why is this happening? But it's going to be like all these little details. Like this whole first episode was amazing. Like go check it out if you haven't. And even if you don't know all the previous shit, like just go check it out. Go have an opinion for yourself. This one's different. This one's not a multiverse. This one's not magic. This one's not superhero powers, laser beams coming out of their eyes. Like this is a secret agent, spy thriller, but he's dealing with an alien invasion that can shapeshift into different people. Like, just the Skrulls, the premise of the Skrulls by themselves is crazy. Let alone to add all the things that they can do. Like, Skrulls are badass. But, you know, so Ross is trying to meet Hill at an extraction, jumps off the roof, splats, and Ross's face was still bloody red. So that's why we were all like, oh my god, it's Ross. And then he crawls, and then he takes his last breath, rolls over, reverts back to Skrull. Because we know when Skrulls die in human form, they revert back to their forms of their natural forms. And we know that from Captain Marvel and stuff like that. But Ross dies. This leaves me now questions. Is this the Ross that we knew from Wakanda Forever? You know, like, is this that Ross that was saved by Shuri and he's been a fucking... He's been a Skrull this whole time? Or is that Ross in one of those pods? Or is that Ross this Ross, and this Ross is now dead, and he's been a Skrull the whole time, which definitely means fucking Val's a Skrull. Has to be. You know, the head of the... So now Skrulls are the head of the CIA. Maybe even President Richardson's a Skrull. Maybe Rhodey's a Skrull. All I'm saying is Skrulls are fucking everywhere. Don't trust a damn soul. So now the person that was chasing Ross comes up, and Hill points a gun at him, speaks Russian, and he transforms from the guy that he was just a random Russian guy back to Ben Mendelsohn form, which was how we know Talos. Quite a few times in this show, I think for the whole 6 episodes, you're gonna go, why aren't they just choosing to be in Skrull form right now? They could, but they're choosing to be in their like person form, and that does like 2 things. It saves VFX, it saves money in prosthetics, and it also lets you see your actors' faces. You know, like, so I can see why they do it, but there's times where I'm like, they could just be chilling in Skrull form right now. Like, they could switch from Skrull form to me, to you, to like the dog, like Skrull form into whatever the hell they want. But the opening credits, I've seen people on the internet getting real mad at. They're like, oh, it's AI generated. If you guys think that some robot made this and it took away from somebody else's job, you're a full-blown idiot. But I kind of liked the opening credits. You know, a lot of people were hating them. I kind of like those opening credits. You know, like, regardless of the AI stuff or not, it had like a crazy little spooky, suspenseful, like, mystery beat, almost like a Succession type of intro. But I liked it. It was like trippy imagery and stuff still. Like, it was cool. But then we get to see Nick Fury for the first time. He drops down from space because he gets a message from Hill in Talos. And he goes to, you know, Hill picks him up in the middle of the woods. He literally emerges out of a spaceship, and the spaceship takes off. That whole sound design of that spaceship landing and taking off sounded cool. But Hill picks him up. He goes back and catches up with Talos. We get some more information. They're talking about this plant that Talos has planted. It's like, there's just so much going on. Gaia is Talos' daughter. We find out Soren, his wife, has died. The last time we seen Soren, she was Agent Hill. You know, so it's just so much going on. But Fury was blipped, and Talos says Fury disappeared. And then he says Carol Danvers disappeared. And I don't know if she got blipped, because wasn't she in Endgame before they snapped back? So I don't know if Carol Danvers got blipped and that's why she wasn't able to like fulfill her goal. But no, Fury hits the button and she's at the beginning of Endgame. So Carol Danvers wasn't blipped, but she had to go fight Thanos. That's why she wasn't. She disappeared or whatnot. So Talos is breaking down pretty much what this show is about to Agent Fury. He goes, I got kicked out of the Skrull Council, and Gravik is trying to start a war. And Gravik is Kingsley Benadir, great actor. He's absolutely kills it as this menacing Gravik character. I can't wait to see more of him. But he's trying to go around, same thing that Prescott was talking about. Skrulls have been infiltrating parts of the world and setting off bombs and doing terrible terrorist attack things, but blaming other countries because they can look like whoever they need to look like. You know, they can just like see somebody, use their face, go commit a crime, then just turn back into a Skrull, or look at somebody else and turn into somebody else and just disappear. Like, it's so spooky to think about. Like, comment below if you're loving this Skrull invasion and this Secret Invasion show. I think it's going to be unreal. I know it's only one episode in, but you know, Gravik's trying to start a war between Russia and U.S. We find out Skrulls are immune to radioactivity, so they're like at, you know, old radioactive plants. Like, that's where they're like making their home because they can live there, and obviously humans can't. But Rhodey is a snitch at first. We first see Rhodey, he's talking to President Ritson, which something's going to happen with President Ritson, because we already know that Harrison Ford is playing President Ross in Captain America New World Order, so keep your eyes on President Ritson. Something's going to be happening to him. But Rhodey says that Agent Hill and Fury are AWOL, and somehow Rhodey knows that Fury isn't on Saber in dealing with that. So yeah, Fury's in trouble. He's lost a step, but Fury's like mad at the information that Talos gives him. Talos is like, listen, if Gravik's successful, it will mean the end of human race. Fury stands up all mad. He's like, I'm going for a walk. And Talos is like, in Russia, like, you're gonna stand out. And so I think this was Nick Fury's actual goal, is he wanted to be taken by Olivia Colman's character, Sonya from MI6. You get Olivia Colman into the mix. The cast in this is unbelievable. Everyone that I've seen on screen so far has killed it. But she knows Fury. They go way back. But she also says things like she knows Gravik. Fury knows Gravik personally. Sonya says this rather new old Nick Fury is rather pointless partnership, and you know, it's a real problem. But then we cut to Emilia Clarke driving a car, and she's driving little Beto here. This is us at the beginning of this episode when we're like, oh my god, a new Marvel show. Is Emilia Clarke smiling, driving her car as she's bringing Beto to his new home. Beto is this young black man that shows up at the fence, and he's like, I'm trying to feel safe in my own skin, which is pretty much Skrulls, but also, you know, I think something humans can deal with, trying to feel themselves in their own skin, you know, can be very difficult for some people. So Beto is a young black man, but he's also a Skrull. You know, Amelia's like, show us your real form. He turns into a Skrull real quick, turns back. So, you know, there's parts of this show, man, that are just like, wow. The Skrull resistance is so much bigger than we thought. Like, in this whole place where Gaia, Emilia Clarke's character, is like this new, like, Skrull faction has set up a home base, and they're like, there's kids walking around with Skrulls. They're making Skrull produce. She said they're drinking Skrull wine. Like, there's just so much happening on this compound. She said they're about 500 strong, mostly refugees that have to stay at the compound, and their only perk to being a warrior is that they can leave. But she also says that warriors need to remain in their human face so that they get used to it more, and that it's harder for people to know that they're Skrulls, which is just like, oh, but it's already hard enough to know that somebody's a Skrull or not. Like, now they're like really making sure that nobody knows. But Skrulls can just look at you, take your appearance, but they lock you into this like container, and then they touch your head, and they could steal your memories too. So if you wanted to just completely disappear, like, somebody could be you tomorrow as a Skrull. Like, that's just crazy that, like, you know, even, you know, go as high as the president, like in the show, President Ritson could be a real person, and tomorrow could be dead, but will still be President Ritson as a Skrull, and none of us will know. Only the president will know that he is no longer President Ritson, and he is a Skrull that is impersonating President Ritson. Like, oh, dude, like, just to wrap your head around some of the shit that we might see, and like, like the last 30 years, everything we just seen in the Marvel Universe could be retconned completely. Just retconned. Like, just, oh, by the way, you thought Tony Stark was Tony Stark? No, he was a Skrull this whole time. Like, they could do shit like that, and just, they have to justify it and show us how he's a Skrull, but like, they don't even necessarily have to do that. They could just say it, and it just could be fact now, you know, and you're like, what? Like, Tony Stark's a Skrull? Like, I love Tony Stark. I don't love him as a Skrull. Like, it's a real problem. This had me questioning, though, is this Fury that we're seeing is Skrull? I don't think he is, because everyone seems to think he's not, but I don't know, man. This step behind Fury could be not Fury, but if it is Fury and he's old age and he's just post-blip, I don't know what's happening. But him and Talos go to hunt down the bomb maker, which Emilia Clarke's character is also heading to get the bombs. She goes and sees this guy, gets the bombs, gets out of there. They walk up to a chained gate, though, and Fury's like, shit! And you see just Sam L. Jackson, like, line delivery on point as always. And Ben Mendelsohn's like, I got it, breaks the chain off. So, like, now we're realizing that they can take our appearance, they can take our memories, they're really strong, and they talk briefly while they're walking. And Talos says that he's 136 years old. But he says that's not even 40 in human years. He hasn't even gotten his midlife crisis shopping spree yet. And then he asks Fury, what did you get on your shopping spree? And Fury goes, oh, I bought the Avengers on my midlife shopping spree, which is kind of true. But so they go to the bomb maker. The bomb maker is a Skrull. Talos is fighting him the whole time. He's telling Fury to stay out of it. Talos might be a step slow too. He is 136 years old after all, but maybe this other guy was a younger Skrull, more strong Skrull. I don't know. But for some reason, Talos was losing the battle. I don't know if he was a down and out, but he was losing the battle. Fury puts 2 shots in the chest of the bomb maker. Bomb maker's dead, but reverts back to Skrull. So now we got Prescott dead, human, as far as we know. Ross dead, Skrull, as far as we know. Ross, as far as we know, right? Like, it's all as far as we know. We have Ross is dead, Prescott's dead, so we got 1 Skrull, 1 human. The bomb maker's dead. That's 2 Skrulls, 1 human. More deaths to come. So Gaia, you know, we see Emilia Clarke running. She sees Maria Hill after the whole bomb maker thing. Fury shoots him. Maria Hill is a good spy. She's following Emilia Clarke. She runs away. Talos runs after her. We see Talos and Gaia face to face for the first time since, you know, when Gaia was young and clearly ran away. Talos tells Gaia that Soren's dead, so Soren somehow died from the people Gaia's working for. So somehow Gravik killed Soren off screen. We'll probably see that. It will probably all be explained at one point or another. But Gaia pushes Talos away, goes back, brings back the bombs, then later meets Talos, so like Talos thinks that she's on her side again, but she lies to Talos. Or she told Talos the truth, and the people that she's working for, Gravik and them people, those bad Skrulls, knew that she went to Talos and tricked Gaia so that Gaia thought she was helping them, but she actually got lied to so that she wasn't helping them, so now it looks like Gaia lied to them. It's a very, very mindful show. You got to really think about the things that are happening. You know, we see as Fury takes a walk and gets taken by Sonya and gets a drink with Hill, at the guy at the bar. There's a lady kissing in the park. There's a girl with a ball. Like, all that pays off. You think it's just random stuff happening in the middle of the episode. By the end of the episode, they're chasing. Gaia says she marked the bags with the bombs with infrared things, so they have glasses on. They can see infrared. Talos and Maria Hill chasing down the bags. and Nick Fury sees a girl with a bouncy ball, the same girl from the other night. Walks, follows the girl with the bouncy ball, very shining, like it is some creepy stuff, honestly, some horror-inducing type of visuals. And then she walks behind a pillar. All of a sudden, it's the guy from the bar that was talking some shit, and Nick Fury bought him some drinks, thought they were just friends, thought they were just Russians. Little did he know, it was Gravik this whole time. Camera died, so I'm just going to finish this real quick on here. So Gravik walks behind the pillar. It's the same guy from the bar. Then he keeps walking, walks behind a food stand, and then it pops out on the other side, and it's the girl that was kissing at the using PDA, and when Fury first started walking. So Gravik has been following him this whole time, and then he keeps walking. Some more crowd walks by, and then Gravik turns into Kingsley Ben-Adir, his human side of things. And Gravik turns around, Fury points a gun at him, big crowd of people. Fury doesn't just start lighting it up. So Gravik presses the button, sets off one bomb, then a second bomb, then a third bomb, then a fourth bomb. 4 bombs that we don't see people dying, but we can assume that there's mass casualties of civilians. It causes a panic. People start running. All of a sudden, Hill turns around, and Fury's like, hey, gets shot in the chest by Fury. Who was Fury? But Gravik, because Gravik just saw Fury. So now Gravik can turn into fucking Fury's face. So now Fury is compromised, right? And Hill's last words to Fury, as Fury runs up like, no, Hill. Hill's looking at him like, it was you. And he's like, fuck. So now this is one of two things. This is either Hill realizing that the Fury that shot her isn't Fury, and that the person that did shoot her was Gravik in his face, or it's the sadness of it is Maria Hill going, oh God, all this time, the mistakes I made, it was you that shot me? Like, why would you shoot me? Like, so now her dying thoughts are that her boss and best friend, Nick Fury, is the one that shot her and killed her. Like, ooh, so, and Maria Hill doesn't turn back into Skrull. So now, death counter, we have Ross died, Skrull. We have Prescott died, human. We have Hill died, human. We have the bomb maker died, Skrull. We have the civilians with the bombs. So there's people that are dying in the show. But as far as we know from right now, they just introduced that Prescott guy. He's already gone. But Hill and Ross have been people that have been around. This is the first episode, and they're already killing people like this. I am just saying, this show has potential for a lot. Like, just seeing that last closing shot as they just, like, Talos grabs Fury to get the hell out of there, and they have to leave Maria Hill laying on the ground, and as they just pull away for a long time and just watch her shot bleeding red. So you're like, okay, she's not turning back, so she's not a Skrull. She is actually Maria Hill, Colby Smulders, and she's dead. So I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait till this season to be over. And if there's a season 2 of this is the Marvel show I've been truly waiting for. Something that's not in the multiverse and not crazy, and just something more like Captain America, Winter Soldier, even though those are super soldier guys, and that was even a little bit out there. This is even less than that. This is just, it's so simple to follow, but it's crazy because of what the Skrulls are. But it's Skrulls versus humans, and we're following Nick Fury, a human, so we're getting to see what it's like to be a human during this shit. You know what I mean? Like, and what other humans are going through. And we get to see pretty much what humans are dealing with on a day-to-day in a post-blip Avengers society. So, like, there's just going to be so much that we can see. And I'm a lot more excited for the final 5 weeks of this Secret Invasion than I am at all for KRAVEN. But comment below. I'm interested. You know, I like Aaron Taylor Johnson, and I like Russell Crowe. So KRAVEN, they're going rated R, they're going bloody. So as of right now, I'm still interested in KRAVEN. But Sony could mess that up tomorrow, and we all know it. But it is what it is. But comment below, at me on Twitter, or send me a message on my Instagram. I'll leave all my links down in the description below. Check me out on Letterboxd if you want to see any movie reviews that I've done recently. They're all up on there. And all of my links are in the description below. Please like this video, smash that subscribe button, hit that bell if you don't want to miss any future videos, and I will see you guys when I see you guys.